And how did you get from the West End to Cape Town?
Oh, well, that's a very roundabout story. I had been working in Watford, my second time in Watford, in fact, where I had recently installed a new lighting control, dismantled the old lighting control that was on stage, and we moved it front of house. We had a guy in doing sound for one of the musicals that came in. And well, I was just chatting one day, and he said, I said I was looking to the idea of going overseas and working. I really wanted to work overseas. I just thought it would be a marvellous opportunity. And he said, have you ever thought of going to South Africa? And I said, I mean, I knew where Cape Town was, but I really didn't know much else about South Africa. And he said, well, I know a couple of people in South Africa, why don't you write to them and see what they say? So he gave me the addresses of PACT and not actually KPAD in Cape Town, but Jan de Toy, who was the manager of the theatre in Cape Town. And so I wrote letters to both and told them who I was and what I'd done, etc. You know, the sort of thing you would normally write. I didn't really expect to get any replies at all. And the first reply came through fairly quickly from Jan de Toy, asking me to give him more information and saying, would you like to come and work in Cape Town at the Nicomane, as it was then. I did all my paperwork. It was quite exciting times. I think my family were a bit shocked, but got over it a bit quickly. And I was, very pleased to be coming to Cape Town.
So you arrived here when?
1973.
73.
August 1973.
And been here ever since?
And I've been here ever since, yes. I mean, I've lived in Cape Town ever since. Yes.
So what was your first show here then?
My first show here was Mother Courage. And I must have done the right thing, because lots of people then started saying, oh, well, can you come and light a ballet? Can you come and light an opera?
Right. And what was the equipment like at the Nicomane compared to what you'd been used to in the UK?
Well, I mean, fantastic, really, for its time. But you've got to remember that the equipment that was installed was probably ordered somewhere way back in the 60s. So it was pretty early equipment, so it was computerised. But I mean, a computer which was huge, and not the sort of computers we know today. This gigantic Siemens computer which took up half the control room, and punch cards. All the cues, all lighting cues had to be put on punch cards. So while we were able to do many more lighting cues than you were able to do on, say, a manual control, although we were, by that time, our manual controls were not the clunky Grandmaster type controls anymore. So you were able to do more on them. But it was a case of how quickly you can get your fingers round all the levers and the controls. So it was wonderful having a computerised control. And it was then just a case of how many cards you could put in the card reader, and how quickly they could be read, really, more than anything else.
Right. I want to start moving on to your ideas about lighting rather than specific shows. What do you think lighting should achieve?
Oh, what a question to ask. I don't know. Certainly not illumination.
Not illumination?
No. I don't think lighting on stage has got anything to do with that. Not particularly, anyway. I mean, the first thing you've got to do is try and add something to the production, and the and the production design. So I think that you've got to add to the storytelling of the production, bearing in mind how the design works, bearing in mind all sorts of things like period, because I think that does affect what you're trying to put across in your lighting. I'm always very concerned with that. And if I'm doing things like ballet, and opera for that matter, I'd try to listen to the music and see what the music's telling me. Because I think then you also have a third thing that comes in, not just what the production and the play is saying, but what the music is telling you as well.
Well, do you have any pet hates in lighting?
Don't know. Never thought that either. I do have a pet hate in some sort of ways, and that is that I think lighting should be something which is down to the lighting designer to work on. And yes, I think you do need guidance from the director and the designer. But a pet hate I have is when everybody gets involved and everybody wants to sort of add or try to add what they think is the right thing to do, and that only muddies the water. I think I can honestly say that I have really never even copied my own lighting for another production.
That was
Does
what
that
I
make
wanted
sense?
Yeah, that's what was going to be my next question, actually. It was to say, do you have a formula for lighting or not?
Well, Malcolm, my partner, will say that I do have a formula. Everybody has a formula, in fact. Everybody has something about their lighting which you can say, that is John Baker's lighting, that is Dennis Hutchinson's lighting. Everybody in the end has something which has some similarity about it. But I don't think I have a formula. I treat every production as a completely new production. And if you were to go through my lighting, yeah, you might find that for the blue ballets, as they're called, you might find that I do sort of use the same blues, but I may not use them in the same way. And I don't think that Giselle should be lit in the same way as Swan Lake, for instance. I think Giselle has a whole different feel to it. The music, the storytelling, what the story is about, than Swan Lake. There's a whole different type of romanticism between the two, and I think they need treating totally differently.
Now, bearing in mind that ballet usually comes out of a rep rig, where you are certainly limited in terms of varying angles and that sort of thing, because that's what the rig is. Do you find that a particular challenge to give different ballets completely different feels within the same rig?
Well, no, because I would, for a start, I would be giving it different lighting, so I mean different, as in colour feel, and also we engineered in Cape Town, I don't know whether you know, a way of moving from, otherwise we would never, because we used to have to do changeovers in one day between an opera and a ballet, or a ballet and an opera. So we had to engineer a way of doing that.